From the research that I've done, I've determined that there's a significant opportunity for entrepreneurs that can react to the market created by three major factors. Number one is the U.S. economic downturn. Number two is the energy deregulation. And number three is what I'm calling the green phenomena. Before I forget, more information about this can be found online at my website, which is franklinwebster.com/energy. That's Franklin like Ben Franklin, Webster like Noah Webster /energy. Trend number one, the U.S. economic downturn. How this is affecting businesses. Number one, there's been a decrease in sales and revenue for most businesses in the country. There's an increase in cost-cutting scrutiny where people are looking closely at the different cost elements that they have. Also, there's been a trend towards reducing of headcount, either through hiring freezes and then people attritioning through retirement or through layoffs and firing. Also, there's been an emphasis on a decrease in salary expense, either not giving increases or actually cutting salaries in a lot of cases. How it's affecting the individual is employment income for many families has gone from a one income down to no income if the sole breadwinner has lost their job, or from a two income family down to a one income family. But either way, there's been an income loss for individuals. There's also, in the family, there's an increase in cost cutting, looking for different ways that they can cut expenses. Also, that they're deferring purchases as well. Deferring things that they don't have to do. Sometimes they're even deferring things that are necessities. Another factor that's happened is there's an increase in home tension in a lot of families just because of the financial stress and the uncertainty. And also there's a lot of career switching going on where people that can't find a job in their quote-unquote chosen field are now switching to other fields so they can earn some money. The second trend that's affecting the market right now is electricity deregulation. And the way that this is affecting businesses is they're desiring to decrease their electricity expense because of electricity deregulation. They're also cutting back on their electricity consumption altogether, switching to more efficient machinery, devices, making sure they're turning off the lights and doing that to actually lower the actual consumption they're using, apart from lowering their electricity rate. There's also a desire to decrease price volatility, where they want to maintain prices at a steady level so they can know what their expenses are because of the other uncertainty. If they can fix that, then that's something they're interested in doing. For the individual, the electricity deregulation is also, they're looking for ways that they can cut their household electric expense, and also for looking for ways to increase their electricity conservation. Again, we're going to lower impact devices and also curtailing usage, shut the refrigerator, turn off the light, different things that we all grew up with. Okay, another major trend is the green phenomenon. For businesses, it's affecting them because they have this desire now to be viewed as being eco-friendly. I've seen this a lot in the marketing pieces that are coming out, advertisement. They're putting things there about being green. Some of them are changing their logos and things to look more green. But there's definitely a trend where people want to be seen as more green in the business community. Also, I've seen an increase in the desire to recycle and reuse the different things that they've got. So again, this whole trend for the business community. For individuals, there's an increased social pressure to drive smaller cars. People are just getting this idea that they've got to be more friendly to the environment. And also I've seen an increase from individuals in a vilification of quote-unquote corporate villains. Oh, people are messing up the environment, corporations are bad. And there seems to be this general trend among people, I see it in the newspapers, that there's this emphasis on, oh, you know, anything bad for the environment is an evil thing to do. Alright, so if we look at some of the electricity milestones, one of the things that, I mean, just if you look at it, you had, you know, back in, it was 1620. Back in 1620, the Pilgrims came to America, right? Remember that? There wasn't any electricity back then. Everything was done with candles. All right, 1776. Who remembers what happened there?
Fight for independence.
Yeah, fight for independence, right? Country was established. New Jersey was established. Okay, we had a big gap there. Okay, 1999. That's when electricity deregulation came out. We're here in 2010, 11 years later. For most people that I talked to, they weren't even aware that there was such a thing. So we got 2010. So there's been quite a time with the country here where we moved into a regulated environment. Now we've got the deregulated environment. And that's what we're talking about today, is what are the things that we can do for an entrepreneur to take advantage of that. Okay. One of the things that happens, there's this known phenomenon, it's called the technology adoption curve. And you might have seen this elsewhere. I'm just going to quickly sketch it out. But for technology adoption, typically what will happen is that a new device is created, and at that point, you know, very few people know about it. All right? There's a small uptick in the number of people that use it. These people are called the early adopters. Okay? It's not a big growth in terms of the numbers of people that are using it, but it is significant because this population is influential. At some point, though, a critical mass is reached, and then you almost have like a boom cycle, like this. And then after the boom, it tapers off, and again, there's some more people that get involved, but these are the laggers. So you've got laggers.
And EAs.
EAs, early adopters, right?
Early adopters.
Early adopters, and then here's the boom. If you think about that, this has happened a number of different times. Think about these devices. When the radio came out, right? Television, color television, cable TV. There was somebody in the neighborhood that had it first, a few people had it, and all of a sudden, boom, everybody had cable TV. Pagers, fax machines, cell phones, websites. Right? There was some point where a cell phone was a novelty to have, whether you're a doctor or a lawyer. It would ring in the restaurant. Wow, this guy's got a cell phone. Oh, wow, he's in the movies. He's got a cell phone, or he's got a pager. But at some point, it became ubiquitous. Now everybody's got a cell phone. Kids got them, right? And those are all just communication devices, but also for other electrical devices as well. Back when I was a kid, my dad grew up. It was called the ice box, right? Because it was a box, had a block of ice in it. And even though it was an electric refrigerator when I was a kid, we still referred to it as an ice box, right? The refrigerator, air conditioning, microwaves, PCs. Again, they come in, early adopters, and then boom, it takes off like crazy. Okay, so in other words, I'm just pointing out that with these different technological advances, there's been an increased demand on the grid for more and more electricity as we've got more and more devices. Okay, remember this phrase. A luxury, once experienced, becomes a necessity. Think about it. You borrow somebody's GPS, then all of a sudden you got to have one. Right? You're in somebody's car, they've got the GPS, oh, well, I got to have one. A luxury, once experienced, becomes a necessity, and that's the way it is with technology oftentimes. Okay, now if we take a look at electricity usage, how big a market are we talking about? Now, one of the things in the research that I've done, there's actually a government agency, the EIA. Okay, it's the Energy Information Agency. It's a part of the DOE, the Department of Energy. But the EIA specifically looks at energy usage. They look at electricity, they look at gas. Okay, so what I found was they break the market down into basically three sectors: residential, which we all know, commercial, and then a third factor, which is industrial. So think of industrial as more like factories, or like Newark Airport. Right? Commercial is office buildings, restaurants, places like that. What do we have in terms of usage? Well, with this, and this is 2007 data, that's the latest data that they had. A residence uses about 711 kilowatts per month.
On average.
Okay? On average, that's the average. And this is for New Jersey, because they break it down by state. Here's the actual figures. This is the way they break it out by state, and then they sum it up by region. So it's Mid-Atlantic region, which includes New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. Okay? But 711 kilowatts. Back again, 2007, they said the average price was 15.66, right? So 15, almost 16 cents, right, per kilowatt hour. And their bill, if you multiply that out, comes about to $111.44. Okay? That's the average New Jersey household. That's what they're using. Maybe a little more, a little less, but that's the average. Okay? For commercial, it's a lot higher. It's 7,203 kilowatts. They get a little bit of a price break, 14.48, and their bill is about 1,043.30. Okay, the industrial is enormous. It's like the average is 65,574. Their price is 10.86, and their bill is about 7,000 a month, 7,122.62 a month. So again, this gives you an idea about the size of the market. So you take all the residences in New Jersey, for example, and that's how much is being spent per household on average. Okay, so it's a big number. And one of the things that a group can do is they can take a look at how many people are their constituents, multiply that by $111, they get an idea. This is how much our constituents are spending on electricity in a given month if you take them all together. Well, how about with savings? Now, one of the things I've found is I'm involved with a couple different energy saving companies. And I'm getting like 15 to 25% savings. This is for business customers. Okay? But even if you just did a 10% discount for people, if you're able to save them 10%, what kind of dollars are we talking about? I've got residential, commercial, industrial. Let's just focus on residential for now. Okay, so if we take a residential, right, they're paying about $111.44 now with the existing utility, right? Because if you don't switch, you're with the default, the supplier of last choice, which is the utility. Okay. Now, if you're able to save them 10%, that would bring their bill down to $100.30, right? And then 10% savings would be $11.40 $2,014 savings per month.